Hello and welcome to the British Dapper, and today we're talking about don't overcomplicate wearing a jacket. It's not uncommon nowadays to see people overcomplicating the simple task of wearing a jacket. They get this idea that they need to add extra things to make the jacket look good. The way that they dress, they wear a tie, they wear a pocket square, they wear a coloured shirt, and that's all very good and it works really well. But sometimes that's a little bit too much, and quite often you'll hear the term used, it looks a bit busy. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're talking about how to wear a jacket to avoid that comment being made, and so it's literally a case of don't overcomplicate wearing a jacket. So recently I had some feedback from one of our regular contributors on the channel. John mentioned that he has struggles with difficulties with when he has something that's quite a bright coloured or different coloured, multicoloured houndstooth jacket. And that got me to think about this subject, because it's very easy to overcomplicate things. As we say in England, to gild the lily. It's unnecessary, but people tend to do it. And why do they do it? So today I'm simply going to give my views on how to avoid it and why people might think of doing it that way. So if we look at some very fundamental things, for example, why do men wear suits, jackets, ties historically? And I'm going to introduce something which I'm going to call the Peacock Effect. So when we look at wearing a suit and a jacket, the idea is to draw attention from the feet upwards, or to focus people's attention on this main area here, the face, the pocket square and the chest, shoulders. And this is, if you like, the peacock effect, in that we want to attract people's attention to our manly looks. So for example, we want to look broad in the shoulders, so jackets are cut to make the most of that feature. The chest, jackets are made to emphasize the chest. When it comes to drawing attention to the face, then a tie is another focal point, along with a pocket square, which draws the attention upwards to the face, which is all well and good. With a traditional suit or muted colours in a suit or a jacket, then you can add real pops of colour in the tie, in the pocket square, or even in the shirt, and that will draw the attention more than the suit itself. So that is great, because that is drawing attention to you, your face, your personality. People are more drawn to you rather than the clothes around it. However, if you've got, for example, a brighter coloured jacket or suit to that extent, then it can be overcomplicated if you apply the same rules as in a bright tie, bright pocket square, bright shirt, and you put all that together with a brighter coloured jacket, and it then becomes what we call the peacock effect. When you see a peacock spread its wings and shakes them around, it's very distracting and disorientating. And it's the same principle. If you've got all this colour and these textures going on, then the eye doesn't focus on one particular thing. It doesn't get drawn up into the face. It's confused because there's so many different things distracting it in the jacket itself. And I'm going to demonstrate that now for you by wearing a simple jacket with a waistcoat and also a brighter coloured shirt and tie. And So as we said, traditionally a suit, you could wear a bright tie and pocket square and it would go well with a suit, a plain suit. But when you start to introduce pattern into a jacket, and then you've got a striped shirt or a patterned shirt, and then you add a pocket square and a tie into this equation, as you can see, this is what we would term to be busy, very busy, and not really aesthetically pleasing as well. In their individual elements, they're lovely, but put them together in the wrong combination, and in a lot of cases, most people would say they don't like that look, or it doesn't look very good. I accept that it's subjective and everybody has their own opinion, and fashion tends to kick against tradition in that they do things and twist things and change things. For example, this look is, you know, for a younger person, maybe that would, if everybody's wearing that sort of thing, then it becomes fashionable. But in 9 times out of 10 cases, this is just a little bit too much pattern in the tie, the shirt, and also the jacket. So it gets very confusing. That peacock thing again is happening, where you can't actually make out anything. It's just everything's too much. So your eye flits around, doesn't really know what to focus on. So it's distracting a person from the attention point, which is your face in this area here. So this is what we need to do. We need to change the way we do this. I'm going to use the same suit, but I'm going to look at different ways that we could maybe dull down this effect, this peacock effect, so that it's more flattering to the person wearing it. Admittedly, it is a very bold suit to start with, but I think I'll make the point quite clear when we start seeing alternatives to what we're currently wearing. So what about if we change the colour of the shirt and the tie, and also change this pocket square for something a little bit more refined, a little bit more dulled down, if you like. So when we talk about dulling down that effect, because the suit is quite a bold pattern, then in this case we've dulled it down using a blue shirt, a simple blue ambassador fold pocket square, and in this case we've picked out the maroon or burgundy in the stripe itself. So it does flatten it a little bit, and it's, you know, bringing the attention again to this area here, despite it being a bold pattern, and therefore lifts person's eyes, their gaze up to your face, and that's the area we want them to look at. So in this case it's quite a subtle way of doing it. If we use a white shirt, that would then make this area a lot bolder as well, and you could still wear a burgundy tie, and I would change this for a white pocket square if I'm going to wear a white shirt. But I think because there's quite a lot of blue in this, I would change this for a white shirt and then a blue tie. So let me know what you think. So in this case, as I said, we've changed it for a white shirt. We've used a blue tie to pick out the blue in the actual jacket. Very simple folded white handkerchief, pocket square if you like. And again, it's subdued the look. It's not over complicated or complex, but again the tie still brings in somebody's eye, their attention to your face, despite the suit being quite a loud one. So another alternative to this is, as we mentioned earlier about brightly coloured jackets, we could just completely change that with for example a very plain, it could be, for example, the use of a very plain turtleneck or a jumper underneath the jacket. In this case, I'd suggest maybe because it's got the maroon in the actual jacket, maybe that colour would work underneath it, or a neutral colour like a blue, dark blue turtleneck underneath it, or roll neck jumper, would change the dynamic of the suit and make the suit more of the focal point rather than the tie. And that's another way of doing it. So instead of drawing the attention to the face, as would be the traditional way, if you want your suit to be the statement piece of you, of your ensemble, then you would then dull everything else around it so the suit becomes the focal point. So let's have a look at that and see what you think. So here's an alternative way of doing it. This is more of a autumn look. So for example, here's the roll neck jumper we were talking about, picking up some of the colours in the actual suit itself, and a slight picking up of the colours in the pocket square. But again, it's more complementary to the suit rather than trying to busy it. And because you've got this solid block of colour here, it still draws the eye towards the face, but it doesn't make it too busy in the overall look. So how do we change this? So this is where we're going to look at upgrading or changing the look, and consider some other things, some other factors. So if we look at a traditional houndstooth jacket, I'll just step to the side here. So if you look up here, so here's a typical houndstooth jacket. It's just black and white. That is not too difficult to use. We can inject colour into that by introducing a pocket square and a tie, and it's fine. It's not too busy at all. And if you look carefully, if we change that to a different pocket square and a different tie, again it's still okay, not too busy at all. The problem becomes more difficult when the houndstooth jacket itself becomes more multicoloured. And then what do we do? So if it's just a few extra colours in, we could quite easily absorb those colours into a tie or into a pocket square, and it wouldn't look too bad. It's a very fine line. So for example, this jacket here is actually a houndstooth design. It's a tweed jacket, Italian handmade jacket that I had purchased, and you'll notice there's quite a lot going on there, but still the attraction is still towards the tie, pocket square, that upper area that we want to draw attention to, the chest and the face, even though it's still quite busy. I would say it's on the cusp of being too much as in too much busyness in the what I'm wearing. But it's a fine line, and it is also subjective. It's down to individual taste and preferences. So one person might find, oh, that's too much. Another person goes, I quite like that. So it is really down to the individual. And despite people quoting, oh, it's too busy. Yeah, I get that. Sometimes it is too busy for their personal taste. And that's the point to remember, their personal taste. Yes. Like everything else in life, an opinion, and it's an opinion that might be formed from the majority of people, but not all people. So let's have a think about now, if we do want to change it, what about if we change that jacket for something like this? Now this is a statement piece, isn't it? This jacket here is bright and a lot of colours, so you wouldn't really be able to add anything to that. It would just be such an amalgamation of such bright colours and vivid colours. So in this case, you need to step away from the traditional view of drawing attention to this area here, the chest, the tie, the pocket square and the face, And the focal point of this is no longer going to be these three areas, but it is going to be the jacket itself is the statement piece. So everything else you wear around it, for example, the shirt, even a tie, even trousers, they need to be as neutral as possible. In this case, I would suggest if you're going to wear it for a night wear, an evening wear, then black shirt, black trousers, black shoes. If you had to wear a tie, a black tie. So everything else is blacked out, and the focal point is enhanced even further by the jacket being the focal point. That's the only real way you could wear this this look. Black is the colour I'm recommending, but you could quite easily wear a cream or an off-white, but obviously I think this jacket is really more of a nightwear sort of outfit. So what about when it comes to multiple coloured tweeds and that sort of look? So for example, here's a suit that I quite often wear, and it's a brown and blue Prince of Wales check suit, and it's a lovely suit, really fits lovely waistcoat that goes with it. But obviously because it's a Prince of Wales and it has a pattern to it, you have to be a little bit careful of what you wear in the tie for that. So I tend to go for more plainer ties, not so much such a busy tie. In this case I wear polka dots and a purple, which is quite loud, but it goes well with the colour scheme. And the same with the pocket square on this. I've used a purple pocket square to go with the actual tie, so it's not too busy, but the colours are complementary to the suit, and the eye is drawn through the suit to the tie and then into the face, and that's where we want people to look at our face, having taken in everything around us. So we're making full use of the peacock effect without rustling of feathers and confusing somebody. Another option is, I'm going to show you some more versions of this now. Here's an example here of another tweed jacket, and you can see there is some lavenders in that, and they've quite rightly picked those colours out into the tie. And you'll notice the shirt, there's a slight blue turn to the shirt, and you'll see in the actual tweed itself there is a slight blue check in there as well, along with some brown tones and like an orangey tone to it, which is picked up in the pocket square. Now those colours in the shirt, the tie and the pocket square, if you look very carefully, you'll see them in the actual tweed, in the fabric itself. So they're enhancing that look. This suit, this jacket is not too bright, not too harsh in colours, so it does complement everything really well. Another option is to, for example, in this case with a tweed jacket, in fact this is the one I'm wearing now, I changed the shirt for a pink shirt, a slightly different look, but again it's not over complicated. You've got the pocket square that gives a bit of attention, draws a bit of attention. If you've got a lapel badge, that also draws attention, but it's always moving towards the face. Shoulders are quite prominent, and the chest area in the jacket itself, but again everything's moving towards the eye line, towards the face. And this is quite an easy look to wear with a pair of jeans, so it's a much more casual version of that. If you're going to add a tie, then pick out something in the actual fabric itself, pick out one key colour and use that. If it's multiple colours, for example in a houndstooth, the like for example this one, then there might be a number of colours we can pick out. In this, there's some yellows in the actual fabric. There is some coppers and some blacks in there, dark greens. So it's quite busy in the pattern itself. And as you can see, those have migrated into the waistcoat that I'm wearing with this outfit. And also the copper tones and the black are in the tie and in the pocket square. So it is quite busy, but it's not, in my opinion, over the top. It's not too distracting. It's a natural flow of the eye towards the face. And that's really what we want to do. The trouble is when we go the other way and we get that peacock effect where all the feathers are rustling away, all these combinations are there, and it's distracting, and it's not allowing a person to focus their attention on our face or when we're talking or to this upper area. So when it comes to bright checked jackets, for example this one here is more of a casual jacket, and therefore you could wear it with some jeans and not a problem at all, as long as you don't overdo any other colours, multiple coloured shirts or striped shirts. Keep it very simple and plain, as they've done here. Plain shirt, nice pair of jeans, dark jeans, and the jacket will stand out, but it's not overcomplicated by other colours and other injections into that look. For example, no multiple coloured tie to go with it, so it enhances the overall look. Similarly here, different colour, very similar sort of vibe though. Pair of jeans or dark trousers and a plain shirt, and again it's not overcomplicating the look. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you get something from it. If you liked the video, then give us a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, then please feel free to do so. Any comments you'd like to make, we love to hear some comments from you. Jot them down below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. If you've got your own observations or suggestions, then please jot them down below. Share them amongst the other subscribers and myself, and we look forward to hearing from you. So until next time, take care.